Welcome to another episode of FML, and I bought another car, and I've also gotten rid of a lot of cars, but let's go check out this gem that I have purchased. I have purchased a 1993 300E, as you can see, but it's a 4MATIC. I paid $600 for this thing, and oddly enough it runs. We'll start it up later. At first glance it doesn't look like it's in too bad a shape. You know, we got some crackage there, random rust spot on the hood, a little whatever's going on there, some rust there, a little dent there. Car looks pretty solid. Inside is nice. You got the leather seats, heated, and all with 150,000 miles on it. And it came with 2 tires that I now have to dispose of. Thank you. And the motor. Nothing too exciting here to show, but there is something exciting going on in this because I'll show you later. But now let's talk about what I've been doing for, 8 months now since I've posted a video. I've done some clips, but we just have the truck, Mercedes wagon, and then now this guy. I actually purchased this one for parts for this wagon, and it may not look like it, but I've completely redone the suspension on this Mercedes wagon. Every single bushing control arm has been replaced. It rides phenomenal. We got new shocks in the front, new shock mounts. The only thing that I haven't done yet was replace the nitrogen balls on the back. And then as for the truck, we have solar panels. I have a mobile power station now. We use this for camping. We have a 100 amp battery. Excuse the mess, joys of having children. We have our inverter and our charge controller. And then eventually I'm going to run cable out to the back and have outlets in the bed. We've gone camping a few times with this now, and I run a mini fridge in the back of it. We do tent camping, so that works out pretty good. I think I'll make a video on just that setup. It'll be a short one. And then we still have our 500E or E500, and I started taking out the motor. I keep running into problems. We're gonna need another radiator. I also have a bunch of front end parts for this sitting in storage, but other than that, I've sold all of my other vehicles. Just life had become very overwhelming, and I just had to make things simple again. It was just too much. My financial mistake that I live in needed a new roof, so we've gotten that taken care of. I also got to do a door, and then things with having children and family life. Now for why I am using this thing as a parts car. The title's messed up, so I don't even want to deal with that. This is a 4MATIC car, and there tends to be a lot of problems with the 4MATIC systems in these, so I just don't really want to mess with it. And coming back to this engine bay, if you didn't notice it at the beginning of this video, you're going to notice it now. This is melted. There's a lot of ash, fire damage, some pigtails for sensors, wiring. One of the good things about this is this doesn't need a fan. It's missing a fan. I'm not really sure why, but it is. But it gets better. W124s have a really goofy spring setup on the front of their cars, and this one is no exception. But you can see the coil spring just starts, and then they just kind of stretched it out so the axle could go through. But as you can see, somebody sawzawed the axle off on this front passenger side. The other side is fine, but this side is chopped off, making this a 3-wheel drive. But there's more. So as you can see from the license plate, this has not been on the road since 2009, and it sat in a garage the whole time. And oddly enough, the interior does not smell, so that's a plus, I guess. But they replaced the fuel pump, and I don't know if you can see that in camera, but they just zip tied everything up there and couldn't even bother cutting the things off. This car also has the self-leveling rear suspension, and they must have bypassed it. I'm assuming there was a leak and they just put regular shocks back there. So we have a reservoir for it and everything, just a regular shocks back there. Brake fluid looks clean though, look at that. Wow, that must have been changed recently. They also put a new fuel distribution system on the front of this, so we're gonna be taking that out. But I mostly bought this car because of the seats. Now this one's got a little bit of a rip here, but these are heated and they're actually not too bad a shape except for that. But I really wanted heated seats in my wagon, so we're going to try to take out all that wiring and everything, and then, you know, the decent wood trim on here, it's kind of hard to find, and the radio works in here, so maybe we could finally have a working radio in my car. And you can also see this was a problem back in this time frame with these colors in my manual car. The car had been repainted, and then the other low mileage Mercedes that I had also started showing symptoms of these, but Mercedes was warranting this paint and they didn't take advantage of, this owner must not have taken advantage of it, but this is what happens with these colors, is the clear coat cracks. They use some kind of different paint on there and it just didn't work out. Around that time they started to change their wiring and all that stuff started coming off. This car wasn't affected by that, but my wagon was, but someone had already replaced it. And as for the weird rusted spot, that's where part of that fire happened. And from what I can tell, it looks like some wires down there got pinched. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but we'll take some parts off of here. We will save as much as we can from this car before letting it become a new Honda. There's probably like 20 Hondas worth of metal on this car. Oh, the other thing that's a big downside is that the spring towers on this side are starting to rot. So that's kind of a quick update about what's going on. This life's too busy. I started making a video on doing the suspension on this, and then like within 15 minutes of starting that video, one of the bolts was seized in the control arms and it became a whole fiasco. I will make a different video on that, but I'm also very excited to focus on that car. So many cars I've had that have taken my attention away from this thing and I've only been driving it, and now finally I'm able to fix it and make it drivable again. The other thing is the Lincoln. I don't know if any of you guys remember that from my other videos, seeing it in the background, stuff like that. I hit a deer with it and it totaled it. Like, a deer caused like $13,000 worth of damage, so that was exciting. Comment below if you want to see me taking this apart, but I'm probably not really going to make a video on that. There's a couple things I want to try, specifically with the rear door cards and putting them on that car. I will make a short video on that as well and see how that plays out for people who need to do that to their wagons, because the rear armrest on those back doors break and they're really brittle and they're really hard to find, especially the speaker grills. But that's all I got, and thanks for watching this quick little video, and remember to keep making financial mistakes.